Another exercise motivation video. I want to say right at the start of this video that the reason I haven't made one, they seem to be getting more views than the other videos I've made in the past. So it's I would hope that that means it's possibly of interest in helping people. The reason I haven't made videos for a few days is because I've had a tough few days in my own head, and just I want to regularly insert that into these videos to remind anyone watching that I'm not suggesting that this is easy. On a bad day, what I am saying is going to feel impossible. So please don't think that this is condescending advice coming from someone who doesn't know. I really do know. Sadly, I wish I didn't in a way. Although what it does is it gives me insight to be able to understand how someone who's trying to get more exercise done and be more positive might feel. So the tip in this video is about comparison to other people, and that can sometimes slow us down and or stop us or overwhelm us or make us think, what's the point? People who are who talk about love and exercise and, you know, there's no excuses and stuff like that, they're just in the habit of it. They've been doing it for years and they've forgotten what it's like to find it hard to motivate yourself. One of the best lessons I learned over the last sort of 10 years or so is that life really is largely about improvement, patience and consistent effort. And forming new habits, they do eventually take, a new habit will eventually take hold and become automatic. And it's about persistent and not giving up, which obviously someone who struggles with their mental health is going to struggle with, because sometimes, you know, if mental health is up and down and side to side and all over the place, it is hard to be consistent. So it is an additional barrier. I will grant you that, and I see you and I get that. All right, so I'm not dismissing that very valid additional barrier. It's just an additional barrier though. It isn't a complete blockade. All right, so let's acknowledge and be kind to ourselves the difficulties that are there, and you're not imagining them, but also let's focus on the positive, which might only be possible on a good day for you. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, and it's turning the tide. It's trying to put as much positivity into your life when you feel able, and trusting that eventually you will tip the balance. Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight realistically if you're really unwell. I'm not going to patronize anyone by suggesting that at all, but yeah, if you compare yourself to other people, if you're the person who struggles the most in an exercise class, and if that's demotivating you, maybe do an easier class. Like just really look at how the environment around you is affecting you and get constructive, because it's okay to feel not good enough. I once did an exercise class at a local sort of exercise emporium, and I used to refer to it as attempted manslaughter. Because that's how it felt. It was ridiculous. It was a very, very challenging class. And I felt very conspicuous being the one huffing and puffing the most in that class. And I talked to some friends about it, and they said, well, you know, you're just the least fit person in the class. You can either stick at it or you can go to an easier class. There's nothing wrong with you. You're trying, you're doing your best, you know, that's great. And it made me realise, yeah, there actually isn't a problem here, is there? It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me, that I'm struggling the most in the class. I'm comparing myself to others and it's harming me. So I persisted for a little while, which was good for me. It was character building. I was humble and showed up as the least fit person in the class and accepted it and didn't get touchy about it. But in the end, I had to accept it was kind of demotivating me a little bit. So it was just so hard. Like I would feel like I was going to puke and stuff. It was hardcore. And afterward, I talked to the instructor afterwards, and she said it is a very challenging class. And I did think, oh, why couldn't you just have said that to me when you saw me struggling and being exasperated? It would have helped so much emotionally. But that's our job. It's nobody else's job at the end of the day, you know. But I mean, a little bit of reassurance is helpful. A little bit of emotional intelligence, when someone's struggling, can be kind and helpful. But not everyone notices or thinks of things that way. And so I didn't give up exercising, but I did give up that class, and that was what was right for me. And yeah, I went to, I think, a club-a-size class instead, and found it easy. And I thought, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. So do you know what I mean? Like, and really, we need to practice believing there's nothing wrong with us in general. There's always going to be someone who's fitter than us, and there's always going to be someone who's less fit than us. We are where we are, and we're okay. We're okay. It's okay to be where you are. Another example from my own life, I went to a beginner's yoga class once because I was very low and I needed to rebuild my confidence. I needed to do something relaxing, but something easy, so that I didn't feel worse about myself. So I deliberately chose a beginner's class, taking responsibility for myself and where I was at, that I didn't want to go to an advanced class and feel, useless. And I went to this beginner's class, and thank goodness I had been to other beginner classes in the past, because this was not a beginner's class. This was not pitched at any beginner level that I had ever experienced. And I felt so strongly about it. I politely contacted the instructor and said, I just wanted to let you know, like I'm in a bad place at the moment, and I chose a beginner's class, like, on purpose, deliberately, so that I needed to rebuild my confidence and my self-esteem. And I've been to other beginner classes before, and none of them have been anywhere near as challenging as this. And I wasn't sure if you were aware. And she replied, and she was really nice, and she took it on board. But yeah, like, sometimes, it's not you, it's the environment is tricking you, so to speak. So it makes me sad that I would have doubted myself more and felt worse about myself had I not been to other beginner yoga classes in the past and realised that this is not a beginner's class. This is a intermediate class in terms of difficulty. So it just goes to show that sometimes the information around us is misleading. Just focus on yourself and just focus on improving where you're at, and don't worry about anyone else. I know it's easier said than done, but hopefully just a few of those examples have helped show you that sometimes, well, usually it's not you, and it's okay to be where you're at, and nobody's looking at you, nobody's laughing at you. Everyone's focused on trying to better themselves, usually in environments like that. Anyway, this is getting a bit long, so I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this is helpful to someone, and take good care best you can. Have a lovely day.